Hi, this is Alicia McDaniel from artforthecreativesoul.com, here with a simple Kente paper weaving art lesson. This is inspired by the children's book, The Spider Weaver, A Legend of Kente Cloth, written by Margaret Musgrove and illustrated by Julia Kearns. So I'm going to use a blue and yellow sheet of paper, a pair of scissors. I'm also going to use some tape, a glue stick, and I'm going to be drawing the lines with bingo markers. Okay, I'm going to create a design on the yellow sheet of paper first, and I'm going to do this by folding my paper in half once, then I'm going to fold it in half a second time because I want to divide the paper up into 4 even sections. Once I do that, I'm going to turn the paper in the portrait orientation and begin creating a design using an orange and red bingo marker. Now I'll start by creating simple lines. I'm going to draw a dotted line in the first section and a zigzag line in that first section as well. Then I'm going to alternate to the orange bingo marker, and I'm going to draw a dashed line and then a wavy line. And because I want to make this a pattern, I'm going to repeat what I did in the first section into the third section. A dotted line and then a zigzag line. I'll finish this design on the yellow paper doing the same thing in this last section that I did in the second one. I'm going to do the same thing to my blue paper that I did to the yellow one. I am going to create a design. I'm going to fold the paper in half 2 times to create 4 even sections. Then I'm going to use a purple bingo marker and a green bingo marker. Now this purple bingo marker kind of looks blue on this blue paper, and that's okay. But I'm going to go ahead and you'll see that I already started a design that I am repeating. I have a rectangular line, a hairy line, a fancy line that's looping, and then a straight line. So now I have 2 designs to work with. I'm going to use my blue sheet first, and I'm going to fold it in half again because I'm creating a loom. We're going to use it to weave the other sheet into it. So I'm taking a piece of tape and putting it on the open edge of the folded blue paper. Do you see that? Because we're going to cut it, and that's going to be our guideline to tell us where to stop. So I'm cutting in the middle of the folded paper all the way to that line, to that tape, and I'm going to stop. It looks kind of like a pair of pants or walking legs when I move it back and forth, right? So then I'm going to fold one section, or cut rather, one section in half. Then I'm going to cut the last section in half too, so that I have 4 different strips. And when I open it up, you can see how I cut it. I'm going to do something different with my yellow paper because we're going to use these strips to weave them into the blue loom that we created. So I'm going to cut right in the middle of each line that I drew on that design. I'm just cutting right across with my scissors and making strips out of that design. Okay, now I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to use that blue design that I cut and made into a loom, and I'm going to take the yellow strips and weave them into this blue background. So first I'll start with one of the strips that has the red dotted line. I'm going to go under the first blue strip, over the second, under the third, and over the 4th strip. So I'm creating another pattern. I'm going under, then over, then under, then over. So back and forth. When I go to the next strip, I'm going to go in the opposite pattern. I'm going to go over first, then under the second strip, over the third strip, and under the 4th. As I do this, I'm going to alternate back and forth using the over and under pattern in order to weave these yellow strips into this blue paper loom. As I weave them in, I'm also going to make sure that I line the edges of the strips up so that they are not sticking out over the edge or looking sloppy. And I'm also going to move the strips over. You'll notice that as I weave them through, I'm going to move them over a little bit. There's another pattern that's starting to emerge also. So I did the first and third strip using the same under and over pattern. Now I'm doing the same thing with the second and fourth strip, just alternating back and forth with the over and under or under and then over. What I really like about this woven design is how these colors are really contrasting each other in a bright way, and I like the way the lines on each design are really complementing each other. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to weave the yellow strips into the blue design, and I'm not going to be able to use all of the strips because I did not cut all the way across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over the strips that are in the design already, that I've already woven through, and I'm going to try to squeeze one more strip in through the loom. There are two left, we'll just use one. So if you notice, I'm trying to get it through there, but it's a little tight. So this is something that I'm going to do to make sure that strip, that last strip, can get through there. I'm going to use the scissors and I'm going to cut just a little bit further, not all the way to the edge, but a little bit closer to it so that I can have room to put that last strip through and finish the design. Now, if you decide to do this, you can always cut all the way across if you want so that you can use all of the strips, or you can take that last strip and you can glue it to either edge and cut it and make fringe or do something else with it. Or you could take another yellow sheet of paper and create a frame for this. So there are a lot of options if you decide to do this yourself. But what I'm going to do is just weave this last strip through, and I'm pulling it through. I'm going to make sure all of my edges are lined up. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to glue the end of each yellow strip, and I'm going to do it on both sides of the paper to make sure that these strips do not fall through. I really enjoyed doing this simple Kente paper weaving, and make sure you visit artforthecreativesoul.com to find more great art resources and tips.